afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another Through the Bible. Today is January 21st, 2016, and we've been going through the book of Proverbs, a chapter a day. This is the 21st day, so we're on chapter 21. I just got done reading it, and I'm just going to go over the verses that stand out to me that I can recall from memory. There was one that says, whoever shuts his ears to the cries of the poor, he will cry and he will not be heard. So once again, we have this theme throughout the entire book of Proverbs of God basically being the champion of the poor. When you lend to the poor, you give to the Lord, and the Lord will repay you. Whoever mocks the poor insults his maker, and he will cry out and not be helped. Okay, another one was one that I believe that Christ basically quoted or paraphrased, was that to do right and to love justice and mercy is better than sacrifice. So to live a good life and to do merciful things and love justice is better than sacrificing. It's better than tithing your 10%. We know in the old days, they would take the lambs and sacrifice them to God once a year, the spotless lamb. And they would give burnt offerings yearly and sprinkle the people. And God was like, you know what, I really don't want any of that. I just want you to live a righteous life and to love mercy and to love justice. And Christ had said that to the Pharisees because they were all about the rules. They had the rules down. And he said, go learn that I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Okay, another one was, all the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but God looks at the heart. So once again, what a man does, he thinks he's right, but God's looking at our motives, our heart, and that's where some people may not give a lot, they might not do great works or deeds, but their heart is in the right place. And that, all through the Bible, we see is what God is mostly concerned with. Okay, another verse that stood out to me was that the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord, and he turns it wherever he will. So basically with that, we see that there's something called divine providence, that God really ultimately has sway and move over people, especially leaders. It says the heart of the king. So God, we know, hardened Pharaoh's heart, and we know that if you have a boss or a leader or anyone over you, you can trust and know that God is moving their hearts wherever he wills. And there's a common theme in the Bible that God will give us his favor. He gave Moses favor, loving favor and kindness. He gave Joseph a lot of favor and blessings. He gave David favor and blessing and victory everywhere he turned. He gave Abraham, he had the favor of God and God's blessing and God's support and presence was on him. And we know Jacob had God's favor and blessing. Whatever he did prospered because God's hand was on his life. Remember, Laban tried to trick him. He saw that Jacob was prospering and doing good. And he's like, okay, from now on, any speckled goats that are born or sheep are yours, and the other ones are mine. And then there would be a whole bunch of speckled ones born. And then he would claim something else. Whatever it was, basically you cannot withhold the promises of God and his favor on your life. And he can move in the hearts of your manager, your employer, everyone, and move their heart to bless you as you please him. That's another theme we have all through Proverbs, that the house of the godly prospers. All right, speaking of prosperity, another verse that I remember out of Proverbs chapter 21 was that whoever loves pleasure will be poor, and whoever loves wine will never be rich. When you think of the wisdom in that, it's the people who don't squander their money lavishing themselves that advance and go up. The people that pay their bills, they go up and up and up. But it's the people that just squander all their check at the mall that they'll never see the amount of wealth they can get, because they're always squandering it as soon as they get it. And of course, whoever loves wine will not be rich. We know that there's countless testimonies of people who are like, man, now that I quit drinking, I actually have money in my pocket now. Habits like drinking and smoking will really cut into your budget. So I totally advise giving up on those and seeing how much money you can have. So that's basically Proverbs 21. There's a couple other ones in there that deal with just basically the same thing. Scoffers. It seems like there's a lot to do in the Bible with scoffers. Like, they just irritated Solomon. You know, people who just made a mockery of wisdom and everything. There's a verse that says if you punish a scoffer, the simple will take it to heart, and if you rebuke a wise man, he'll learn. So it's that old adage that sometimes you have to make an example of someone. But anyways, that's Proverbs chapter 21. So we know from this that God wants us to do right and to love mercy, and justice is more important than sacrifice. We know that the heart of the king is like a stream in the hands of God, and he turns it wherever he wants. So people in this world, especially the powerful people, they really think they're in control. There's such a thing as divine providence. God sets up kings, he takes down kings. He gives certain people rule, takes away rule. You can see it all through the Old Testament. And as a matter of fact, the book of Daniel so accurately laid out all of these Middle Eastern kingdoms rising and falling, and right in line, you know, with starting with the Babylonians, and then the Persians, and then the Greeks, and then the Romans, and just all these things happen in such a way that the book of Daniel laid out. The historians and people have said that had to have been written after the fact that these events and kingdoms rose and fell, because it's just too accurate any other way. It's not that it's too accurate, it's that there's an all-knowing, all-seeing God who has everything laid out. And right there, that should give you peace of mind, knowing that, number one, he wants good for you, and he's got your future all laid out. And just as you commit your plans to him, he'll bring them to pass, and he's got you in the palm of his hand, is what the scriptures say. So that's the wisdom of God for today. Once again, lend to the poor. Don't deny the poor. God loves mercy rather than sacrifice. The heart of kings is in God's hand. He directs it. God is the one dictating and directing things. We are just merely servants and joyful participants in this history that God is really writing. So that's Proverbs chapter 21. I hope that you can actually go to it and read it for yourself. And maybe there'll be some other verses in there that will stand